I know based upon my undercover experience that a lot of times I just misread the type of person I was dealing with. Rather than try and look at people based upon race, age, gender, how they're dressed, tattoos, piercings, whatever. How about we think of people as we factually know and understand them? And that would be either we know them or we don't. We understand that we need to maintain range, and while maintaining range, being able to see a potential problem, let's start looking at some assessment skills. Now, there are behaviors that people exhibit, okay, that are strongly correlated to pending physical assault. So I'm going to give you a down and dirty working checklist that you can walk away from here tonight and use. So the first piece of body language I'm going to cover is a grooming cue. Now, when I say grooming, what I'm referring to is any kind of hand gesture around the head or the face. Grooming can be expressed in a number of ways. Grooming can be the hands moving through the hair, pinching the bridge of the nose, wiping the eye, scratching your ear, scratching your nose, touching your chin, pinching your neck. Any kind of hand tick you see around the head or the face, I'll call a grooming cue. In formal law enforcement circles, that's commonly a deception indicator. The second pre-assault cue I want to talk about is target glancing. Darting glances in terms of the head to the left, to the right, or behind a person as they're encroaching towards you, as they're trying to engage you verbally, okay? That's a big one. That's a strong one. Typically, bad guys start to check and look around the environment for any witnesses as they're working themselves up while they're assessing you. And it's a game where both parties are assessing each other, okay? Third pre-assault cue that I'd like to discuss is a definitive weight shift. When I say a definitive weight shift, what I mean by that is where you see a person's weight very observably and definitively shift from one foot to another, such as a person is loading their weight. But what's happening here is as people are working themselves up to pulling a knife out, pulling a gun out, throwing a sucker punch, those kinds of things, they have to have a base to be able to move explosively. Finally, the last pre-assault cue I'd like to give you is furtive movement of the hands around the waist. Now, this can be hands in pockets, hands out of view. And one of the things bad guys will do, especially if they're hiding a concealed weapon, is they'll start to pick that area. They'll start to touch it. A trick I used to play with people, if I was talking to this doper right here, with something like this, I get to talk to him, hey buddy, we're going to be out of here in just a minute, you know, we're not harassing you or anything like that. But real quick before I leave, I want to ask you, do you have any drugs on you? And probably 5 times out of 10, they would go, no, okay, and tell me exactly where they were carrying drugs. So it's a good behavior to be conscious of. We want to develop the ability to actively seek this information, especially if we're engaged in some kind of activity that might make us more predisposed to a crime against a person, such as a lone female athlete on a somewhat deserted trail.